The Yaffee Program on WVNN.
All right, yes, I mentioned it in the last hour when I was on with Dale, but I have an op-ed at yellowhammernews.com today. The headline is this: Doug Jones is not actually running for governor. Because I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. I'm not even sure he really wants to do this. Maybe he does. But I'll go over why. I know I talked about it a little bit last week. It has to do with something he posted last week. But just the more I was thinking about it, I'm just like, man, this is not how you would run a campaign if you actually want to win. So I don't think he really wants to win, or just thinks he has no chance. I don't know. We'll have to see. Unless something crazy comes out with Tuberville that they have hidden, which I don't think they do, he probably realizes he has no chance. So we'll get into all of that in a moment. You are listening to the Yaffee Program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Also, a lot of other stuff to get to on the show. We'll have the Alabama bullet points, the top stories from around the state. The bottom of the hour, we'll talk more about that with Todd Stacy, who is with Alabama Daily News, Alabama Public Television's Capital Journal. We got the runoff elections coming up pretty soon, other primary elections as well, because obviously the map changed. So we'll get into that. Then we have the Sunday News Show's recap, and yes, it's going to be dominated today by President Trump. He did a pretty long interview with Meet the Press. And, of course, everyone is focusing on the fact that he ended the interview early. But I have to go over more of the cuts of Trump, what he said on other things. And I can understand Trump's frustration. And I don't necessarily agree with Trump constantly harping on the 2020 election was rigged. I think he goes too far with a lot of that. But to see the other side of it, where those in the propaganda press don't want to acknowledge any problems in the voting system, also is very annoying. So we'll discuss that. And Walker is here as well. She's producing. That means she's going to do What's Trending with us later on. Walker, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I had an interesting weekend because I finished the Twilight series for the first time.
Why? So you tortured yourself all weekend?
Well, I started watching it last weekend and finished it this weekend.
There are 4 movies, right?
4 movies, yes.
Yeah.
Apparently it is one of my boyfriend's comfort movies.
Because it's so dumb? Maybe? No?
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then I also saw John Wick for the first time.
Oh, see, that's a much better use of your time. Watching John Wick. Way better use of your time. So you're going to watch the other ones? There's 4 of those.
I probably will, because I heard that the second one is the best.
Man, I don't know. The first one's so good. The second one's good, but I don't know if you can beat the first one.
I think I'm not that much of an action movie person.
Oh,
and
well then
that was
buckle up.
I was like, man, like this is literally all just fighting.
Oh yeah, it's gun fu. That's what they're calling it.
Okay.
Instead of kung fu, gun fu. Okay, well yeah, we'll get your review on all the John Wick movies when you're done.
All right,
watching all of them.
Will do.
I just remember when Twilight came out, and you had the first one, which is vampires, and then they were just throwing in werewolves. Eventually, and I was just like, what is this? Are we going to have witches next? What are we doing?
I am surprised that there weren't more things like that.
I was just like, okay, this is crazy. All right, I'll end the show with the Yaffee Program Rewind as well. And you can weigh in on the Yaffee text line 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. So yeah, let me go over why I think Doug Jones is not actually running for governor. And in fact, I grabbed some audio because right after the Supreme Court came out and said Alabama can go back to the map that they drew, that this 3-judge panel was wrong. And I told you, I had legal experts telling me, no, the Supreme Court might side with that 3-judge panel. And I was like, I don't think so. To me, it just felt like that judge panel spit in the face of the Supreme Court. I just did not expect the Supreme Court to take that lying down. And they responded pretty quickly. So Doug Jones, who's quote unquote a candidate for governor this year, running against Tommy Tuberville, he posted a video about what happened. Go ahead if you can, Walker. Play a Doug Jones cut 1 for me.
Well, folks, the damn Supreme Court did it. I did not think they would. I did not, truly. I've been a lawyer for a long time, and I have followed the Supreme Court, and I followed the way they act on this incredibly malignant way that they do this emergency docket without any real thought or other than political. Tonight, Alabama has officially rejoined the old Confederacy. Officially rejoined the old Confederacy. And by God, the Supreme Court not only allowed them to have it, they facilitated it. This is just absolutely outrageous. Not only did the Roberts Court now basically throw judicial consideration out the window, they are essentially saying, we are so partisan. It doesn't matter what happens. We're going to decide this on a partisan issue. Hell, everybody wants Supreme Court decision reform. Why expand it? Let's just elect Supreme Court judges on a partisan basis. Let's just elect Republican judges and Democrat judges, and let's see who wins out on that nationwide.
All right. There is a lot to digest there. But can't you just tell he is so desperate for the one-liners? That he is so desperate to get attention, to make things go viral, so people not in the state. There is nothing. I mean, is there anything in that clip there that makes you say, you know what, I'm going to vote for him? He is now. You have convinced me as a voter in Alabama. You've convinced me. Now I'm going to vote for that guy for governor. No, it seems like he's more interested in, like I said, being a social media influencer. He said it twice too, which is funny. We've officially, he actually said the word officially. We've officially rejoined the Confederacy. Now, I know there was a special session recently. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, I'm pretty sure there wasn't like a motion to rejoin the Confederacy during the special session. Pretty sure it didn't happen. But you can tell what he's doing here. He said, then he called the Supreme Court partisan. And this argument truly annoys me. It really does. Just because you disagree with their decisions doesn't make them blatantly partisan. Trump's, I know I've mentioned this before, just to remind them, if they're listening today, those in the propaganda press, Trump's biggest issue at the start of his second term, he called it Liberation Day, his big tariffs. The U.S. Supreme Court went against him on that. If this court was blatantly partisan, do you honestly believe they would do that? Of course not. Of course not. And by the way, they're probably going to go against him on birthright citizenship, which is another big issue for Trump. So they're partisan because I disagree with this. They've been partisan for years. In fact, the fact is they're not as partisan as they used to be. Go on to play Doug Jones cut 2 for me.
What happened tonight with the Alabama case and getting rid of another voice that represents Alabamians is just an outrage. And there's so many people going to be angry about this. I am angry about it. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to redouble efforts because we cannot let this happen in America. We cannot let this happen in Alabama. We cannot let this happen in the South. We have got to make sure that we do what we can to elect folks this coming fall that is going to make Alabama that crowded table where there's a seat at the table for everyone in this state. What folks need to understand is that they have now removed some of those seats at that table, and we're going to put them back.
Now, what he's trying to claim here is that we removed seats from the table for African Americans. That's the claim he is trying to make. But what he's actually mad about is that we've removed seats at the table for Democrats. That's what he's mad about. That's what all of this is about. It's what it's always been about. You want to talk about being blatantly partisan. The 3-judge panel was blatantly partisan. They wanted another Democrat seat And that's what they got for a while. The Supreme Court said no. Go and play cut 3 of Doug Jones.
We're going to build. We have got a crew that's going to build a better Alabama, better education, better jobs, better businesses, better for farmers, better for educators, you name it. We've got a crew that's going to build it. We've got a ticket for change that's going to change the state and build it. We need your help. But this needs to be a nationwide effort. This is in the South. We can start it all right here in Alabama, but it needs to be a nationwide effort as well. We can do this. They are not going to know what hit them. We are going to come after this seat. We're going to make sure that we win it. We're going to get folks out to vote. We're going to make sure that we pull out of the old Confederacy once and for all.
Lord.
So let's get to work, folks in Alabama. Let's get to work and just show them we can be better. We're better.
So I have to point out, he kind of gave it away there because he said it's got to be a nationwide effort. That's who this video is for. It's kind of like when I said AOC came down to Alabama, came down to Montgomery. It was making a big deal about we're going to have to come up to Alabama and change things. Her audience wasn't voters in this state. Her audience was voters in her district in New York. She wanted to virtue signal to other states. That's what Doug Jones is doing here. He's trying to basically play nice with those in the propaganda press and say, no, I'm not like the rest of the people in my state. I'm actually one of the good ones. And we'll come back here and change it from the old Confederacy. Now, he also talked about how he wants to make things better. We're going to do all these things to make things better as Democrats. Now, one, I have to point out that the Confederates were Democrats. It's a history they conveniently try to ignore. But actually, what you've seen in recent years is the economy grow. We've seen the economy grow. We've seen education get better since Republicans basically took over in 2010. Democrats had decades of an opportunity to try to make Alabama better in the areas, all the areas he talked about. And they failed. We are now actually starting to see some improvements, and it's because of conservative policies that are business friendly, that are law and order, that have real accountability in the schools and real choice when it comes to education. So even that argument doesn't make any sense to me. But as I mentioned, he's not actually running. None of that was to appeal to voters. All of it was appeal to those who maybe will give him a shot on CNN or something like that. So Tuberville, yes, is going to be your next governor. If you want to weigh in on that, you can. We have the Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN, while the Alabama bullet points coming up next. Todd Stacy at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
This isn't your average podcast.
We threw like a spontaneous party out of nowhere. It was crazy.
This is Full Send.
Drake weekend in Toronto. That's like, imagine telling me that like 10 years ago. That's yo, you're going to rip with Drake for his album launch release party in Toronto. Like, I'm not passing that up for anything.
Join the party.
She went to Met Gala. He went to the game.
What is the Met Gala? Ridiculous.
I think it's an excuse to dress up like an idiot and go to a ball.
The Full Send podcast.
Oh, we're ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform. This isn't your average podcast.
We threw like a spontaneous party out of nowhere. It was crazy.
This is Full Send.
Drake weekend in Toronto. That's like, imagine telling me that like 10 years ago. That's yo, you're going to rip with Drake for his album launch release party in Toronto. Like, I'm not passing that up for anything.
Join the party.
She went to Met Gala. He went to the game.
What is the Met Gala? Ridiculous.
I think it's an excuse to dress up like an idiot and go to a ball.
The Full Send podcast.
Oh, we're ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.